career in a lot of ways. So mostly what I do for my research is look at how satellites can understand the amount of vegetation on the ground. And so if you think about satellites and how they're created, that has a lot of engineering going in there, as well as physics. So a lot of what satellites are doing is collecting reflected light off the surface of the Earth. And so there's a lot of physics behind that, and how light interacts with vegetation. You could think about biology and also ecology. And so using remote sensing, satellite technology has a lot of these different STEM sciences as well as math. For my career, I have not yet used drones. I've looked at different research papers and other people that have used drones. So some of the things that I've done before is doing invasive plant research. So where are invasive plants across the surface of the Earth? And I know that people have used drones or unmanned aerial vehicles to try to capture pictures as they're flying over a piece of land and see if these high resolution pictures can give them information on what type of plants are there and if there's a weed there or not. So the satellite imagery is what we make the maps from. And so the satellites, I'm primarily using Landsat satellites, and that comes over one row every 16 days. So twice a month we get an image off of the Landsat satellites, and then if that image has no clouds in it, it's an accurate image, I can then use it to make a map of how much vegetation is on the ground. So the image is giving you a 30 by 30 meter pixel, so a big grid. You know, if you could think of like a chessboard or a checkers board, right? So you have those different pixels, so they're squares, and all I get is information from these 30 by 30 meter pixels, and I get information in different bands of the electromagnetic spectrum. The data that is pulled off the satellite, USGS and NASA basically make products for end users like myself. And so they're delivering that data in XY geo-referenced locations. So I can just bring it into a mapping software that is on my computer, and it's put where it needs to be on the surface of the Earth. For example, here would be like a map that I would make. So this is the prairie outline. If you can see that weird shape, that's all grassland. And then I use the satellite imagery to make a map of cover. So here's the amount of cover across the whole prairie. And these little squares are different pastures. So here's a pasture unit. So where you're seeing darker values, you have high amounts of cover. And when you're seeing light values, you have lower amounts of cover.